And we're back with some more base loving. And today we're going to explore this map sent in by Timothe. It's called Volcanea Challenge. Okay, now I'm going to try and explain this map, but I'm not going to do very well at it, unfortunately. This map does come with a few mods. The only two that are really of relevance, though, are... Where is it? One is you can ranch snakes in it. There are roller snakes. I don't know if any of you have been to Australia, but they have this thing called, was it hoop snakes? It's a thing they tell, like in Ireland, we tell people about, leprechauns are totally real, and we mess with tourists. In Australia, they do the same thing, except they call them hoop snakes. They grab their tail, and then they spin, and they roll at about 60 kilometers an hour or something. I don't know. There's some weird myth. But anyway, it turns out you can get roller snakes in this, which are the same thing. You see them there rolling around? But the point of them here is you can harvest tough ones to get steel. So long as you keep them in carbon dioxide, you can harvest them for steel, which is, I suppose, a fun way of getting steel. Another one is we have these other... This is another game-changing mod. It's sort of Palmera Trees. They give you off a bunch of fruit. What's the fruit? Palmera berry, which is very high calorie, very dense in calories. However, they take a long time. Life cycle is 80 cycles to grow in the wild. So... yeah, domestic is 20. It takes 20 cycles to harvest them, and they give you Palmera berries, which you can then fry up in this gas range. Steamed Palmera berries gives you a lot of calories, very high food quality. However, barring that, the rest of this is vanilla. There were several mods that didn't get activated here that were just, quality of life, like pliers and stuff like that. But let's cover this base because it's a bit nuts. Okay, a lot nuts. This here is the bedrooms. Now, you'll notice there's an anti-entropy nullifier in them. Anti-entropy nullifiers, buildable ones, were used in this because there's lots of them around the map. But this is, the bedroom area. Nice and chill. How chill? Well, minus 18. Very chill. This is the Atmo suit docks, and this is where they exit out of the base. So that means the moment they leave their bedrooms in the morning, they're in Atmo suit docks. They're in Atmo suits, because that's the only way this base can survive. Now, you know what? We'll go up first. No, we'll go down. We're going to go down first instead of going up. If you go up, you can go up here. If you go down, you can go down here into an area that's a complete vacuum. There's an awful lot of vacuum down here because this is a volcano map. So there's so much magma everywhere. Like, I think the bottom third of the map is nothing but magma. Like a lot of magma. To deal with that, this is all in a vacuum. The entire bottom half of the map is pretty much kept in a complete vacuum. Places have been bricked off here to stop chlorine and things getting in and other gases from leaking in. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. This sort of straight lines all the way down here. You can see there's some parts got melted like gold and things like that. But airflow tiles are used everywhere because they're a perfect insulator. Shouldn't really be standing on them, but the airflow tiles get stuck up against the magma. And then what we've got here is a whole bunch of steam turbines. An awful lot of steam turbines. And then you'll notice here there's this big row of diamond window tiles. They're hooked up via temperature shift plates and doors to this to dump heat into it. And then this temperature shift plate here is pulling heat out of this, dumping it into the diamond tile, dumping it into this temperature shift plate, which is dumping it into that diamond window tile to jump heat into here. This, however, appears to have been shut off, as in the outputs for it have all been disconnected, just to stop that from doing anything. I presume this was to drain heat out of the surrounding area until an alternative method is found. But watch this for insanity. You've got this diamond window tile here, connects to a temperature shift plate, which goes down to this diamond window tile, which temperature shift plate, diamond window tile. This just means the temperature can flow all the way through here. Gets to a corner, temperature shift plate to move the temperature between those. And then we plummet all the way down. As we keep going down, it's just still more diamond window tiles all the way. Keep going. Then a temperature shift plate here to get between this gap because there's a door in the way, just to help transfer temperature. You'll also up to 1,000 degrees down here. Then it keeps going down. And there's a temperature shift plate here touching that diamond tile, which is also injecting heat from this magma over here into the diamond window tile, which goes all the way back up here, all the way to the steam turbines. Right, okay. A few things to note down here. One, there is a crusher going on. Let's say, we'll turn that off for the moment. So what's happening here is that's crushing all the magma in here and slowly but surely draining all the magma out of this area because there's just so much of it. And across here, we have an area where people can sleep, use the bathrooms, and just have a small little living quarters here for people so that when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is can go out and get to work in this area. I presume it was just a close by thing. Though the mopped magma, oh my god, Mopped magma. Also seems a little bit ludicrous. Anyway, that's the left-hand side of downstairs, or the right-hand side of downstairs. Also, there's another way you can get out of here, which is you go down here and through this area. Also, this entire area, you'll notice, still in a vacuum. So that sandstone is getting close to melting point. This goes all the way through here, and this is where some anti-entropy nullifiers were used to generate an awful lot of cooling. The reason being is they're trying to cool down these steam turbines. These steam turbines are sucking up steam from down here. There is an awful lot of steam because this whole area got cooked, probably by, well, the enormous amount of volcanoes and everything around the place. But you'll notice here it's been cut all the way around to stop all the steam from escaping. This is just reclaiming all that water and sending that water back up to be dumped into storage. And if you keep going down and down and down, you're just so much junk built in vacuum. Here's a petroleum. I think petroleum got boiled in here, which, yeah, I presume there was a bunch of crude oil in here, got dumped in this section, and then slowly but surely was turned into petroleum just by boiling it. Okay. Oh, and here's the leftovers of a magma crusher. So all the magma that was down here just eventually got crushed down here to get rid of this entire area full of magma. You'll notice, yeah, all gone. How long would it take to destroy that much magma otherwise? Okay, just insanity. Anyway, here's some dupes leaving for their morning shift. The entire base is covered in gunk because, well, the dupes don't care. They're in Atmo suits for everything, so they don't ever get anything on their feet. They don't get sopping wet. They don't get anything like that. They just run out, do whatever they're doing, and they only ever get out of the Atmo suits down here. Very nice way of handling things. Over here, we got your food storage, all the usual malarkey going on. Yep, your little ranch down here, which ranching tough roller snakes so that they can get lots of steel. Incubators all set up here. Get lots and lots of junk. The amount of flooding. Oh my god. Just everything around here is covered in liquid and debris. It pains me to my soul, but you gotta love it all at the same time. Then up here we've got a bottomless Rodriguez just for producing hydrogen. It's not in use at the moment because there's no space program. And yeah, over here I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I think this got bricked up, but there is an awful lot of puffs up here. Did all the puffs migrate up here? Did they just decide to live up here? Not sure. Oh, and you may be thinking this is where people get into this area. No, dupes can get into this area, but they can't get into this sort of steamed up room. To get into the steamed up room, they have to come in through here, through the vacuum area, and then they can get into the steamed up room. I'm not even sure. I think water got down here and has touched all of this, probably from the cool steam or the water geyser or the saltwater vent. So the saltwater vent pours its water. That water comes down here, touches all this volcanic rock down here, which is boiling hot, flashes to steam. That would probably explain why there's all this salt down here. How much salt? We got about a kilo of salt and about another 48 kilos of salt down there. And all of that steam is just sitting in this room. I think there's the plan is that this steam turbine eats all the steam. And then it's in that steam right back in there. And it's just slowly but surely cooling this entire place down. This map is mental. And then it's all dug up to the top here where it's been walled off with obsidian. Yes. This is the map. And bear in mind, this is 833 cycles in. And just look at the insanity that is that map. I think just to really hammer that home, you can walk your duplicants through here, and then there's been digging going on. The digging has went on through here, all the way up and around. And this is sort of like one of those zigzag back and forth things. Let's grab a dupe so we can check out their pathing. Where are you? Give me one dupe. Right, there's Stinky. Let's show their navigation. So yeah, they can navigate through here, all the way up here, all the way around, zigzag up and down, and around here, all up to here. I'm sure there's plans to continue this all the way up and around. That's just, yeah, like I said, I was going to try to explain this, but I couldn't really do it. Oh, and there's the gold volcano up here as well. That's stumping gold in there. Yeah, big thanks again to Timothe for that map. I'm not sure what you're doing still. I still have no idea. But thanks again. This is what the plumbing overlay looks like. You can see there's a bunch of water going down here. This is to run the toilets and the sinks down in this area for that little expand base or that little localized base. There's also some water going down here for, I presume, some things that were going on here. Well, there seems to be a carbon skimmer down there, though I'm not sure why it's in vacuum. There's just... next up, we got gas piping. Oxygen to go down to the little mini base. Very little minimal piping because everything is done inside. Well, all the dupes work inside Atmo suits. Temperature overlay. Sorry. The zoom function goes a bit funny when you go out of it. Yeah, so the map is just boiling hot everywhere. The whole thing is just an inferno, no matter where you look. And the power overlay. So, yeah, no, I think we'll go with that. That's just a conductive wire made out of gold, conductive wire down here. Nothing too crazy. The centralized power. Actually, you know what? Let's find out where the power comes from. There looks to be a hydrogen generator over here, which is dumping onto the grid. The main grid is a 2 kilowatt wire. And then there's also a natural gas generator over here. So both of them are what seem to be powering the main grid. And then you have feed-ons by all the steam turbines around the map. So there's a steam turbine over here that's feeding on, and all of those steam turbines down here are also hooked up to it. So all of them are effectively dumping power into it. Let's move on to the next map, and let's see if it's a little bit more standard. Next up, we have a map from Chan. This is called We're All Dead, and this is based on the Rhyme map. So let's have a quick look. The most obvious thing that sticks out is this giant "I will make oxygen" written in lead. That's all made out of lead tiles. We've got some sea miners up here just taking care of some regolith that feeds into some solar. The solar provides quite a chunk of power for this base. You'll see the actual power wires going along here. This actually plugs into this whole battery box, and these transformers here dump more power onto the rest of the grid. But we'll cover more on that later. You know, while we're up here, we'll just cover this is the hydrogen production, oxygen production, because you can never have enough oxygen. Dear Lord, the size of these tanks. They're you'll see that the cooling loops are done here just from some aqua tuners, just running around some supercoolant. So this one here, supercools from the bottom. This one up here, supercools from the top. There's only one loop active on each, with the option to go with a second. There's also another cooling loop here that goes all the way out and around the sea miners and back again. But this also cools down the giant battery box, which is just full of batteries, because that's the way it is. Oh, and as well as rotating the oxygen chute, the petroleum is rotating through as well on this side, just so that, you know, you've got lots of petroleum. Why not? This is some old metal refinement that used to go on. It's the pumps just dump water into the refinery dumps it down here again. I think this was only used briefly because it doesn't seem the water's there still so chilled. There's no way to be that cold if that had been going on for a long time. Anyway, let's get into the core of the base, shall we? Over on the left-hand side here, we have the bedrooms. That's where, well, all the duplicants sleep. Out here, you've got your cooking facilities, and the entire thing seems to be running mostly on mushrooms. And you'll see they're actually giving them the buff there. The, what is it, Farmer's Touch? So these are all getting double-speeded by Farmer's Touch. There is a lot of calories in mushrooms here. There's over 4 million calories of fried mushrooms, 3 million of gristleberry, about 20k of omelets, some nutrition bars, and some leftover mushrooms. Yeah, that's a lot of calories. You should be safe for quite some time. Over here, we've got the cooling section going on for the cool steam vent. So this cool steam vent, yeah, it's just getting chilled down by, well, two things actually. There's an aqua tuner here that's running, using chilled polluted water to cool down the water tank. But there's also a hydrogen cooling loop. I presume this was put in originally. So this hydrogen cooling loop comes all the way from up here where there's an anti-entropy nullifier. So the anti-entropy nullifier is dumping cooling into the pipes here. That gets transferred all the way down and all the way back up again because, you know, why not? That's the way it should go. Oh, and two giant statues. Oh, you've got something in your teeth. Like, yeah, just right there. Yeah. Okay, now it's in your eye. You know, never mind. It's fine. Anyway, where were we? Yes. Here is the hatch farms. Now, you'll notice that these are three very weird hatch farms and that they're not in alignment. They're all out of alignment, but you'll be pleased to know that every single one of them is exactly 96 tiles in size. The maximum size allowed and the one that allows you to support the most amount of critters. So don't worry about it. They're all perfectly sized, if just slightly off-center. 4. The core of the base. Core of the base here, this is all walled in all the way around. So dupes can go all the way up to here before they have to go into Atmo suits to get outside of the base, and they can go all the way down to the bottom before they have to go out these doors to get into more Atmo suits. There's also a little bit of a transport grid going down and another one going up here on the left-hand side, though I don't think they meet in the middle. Wait, I tell a lie. It is possible to get out of here and for these two to meet up, though I don't think there's a way back if they go in here, is there? Oh no, you can get up that ladder. Okay, so I think it's just the balancing between which Atmo seat docks is used, either between the bottom or top, is just left up to the duplicants. They'll sort it out themselves. Let's go down to the bottom of the map here. Bottom of the map, you've got your hydrogen, which is getting stockpiled up in here to run into... Oh, there's a where's the hydrogen generators gone? Yeah, there's 4 hydrogen generators over here, which dump water into or dump power into the core network. You've also got 3 glass forges. The glass is actually dumped off in here via the piping. So it gets cooled down in here, swept up by an auto sweeper, and then dumped out down here to get, well, for final chilling. This is where most of the metal refinement goes on. All that happens is crude oil comes up from the bottom of the map, gets dumped directly into these metal refineries, and then they just dump it right back into the oil pool. So the temperature of the stuff in here is like 120 degrees, 130 in spots, because a lot of heat has been dumped into it. But considering the huge quantity of crude oil down here, you could really refine a lot of metal with that method. Personally, it would probably drive me nuts, but realistically, you could keep doing this until you start turning everything into petroleum before you'd even need to start to care. Over here we got a few natural gas generators. They're there to burn off the natural gas that comes out of the oil wells. And where is it? Power. Power is over here. This is where the natural gas comes in, and this is all natural gas storage. And there is a lot of it, as you can see. We've got a natural gas geyser here and the fertilizer makers. The fertilizer makers are for making the farmer's touch. All of that has filled up these, and these 6 natural gas generators are the main power for the base, excluding the solar, of course. And that all dumps down into power down here, or the polluted water pops it down the bottom. The carbon dioxide, where does the carbon dioxide go? Oh, that gets sent right down to the oil biome, because all the way down here and thrown down into the Slickster farm. What's the bets? That's a 96 tile one. Oh no, 82 tiles. Oh, for oxygen production, we have, where is it? We have a full Rodriguez up here dumping out oxygen into the base, so 3 kilos of oxygen per second. Excess hydrogen is either fed into the hydrogen generators or dumped off here. It goes down to the hydrogen generators at the bottom of the map, or up to the top of the map to be dumped into the hydrogen production facility. Oh, a few Drecos over here that are farmed for their coats just to get some reed fiber in, and our Bristle Blossom farm over here. All in all, quite a nice little base, though I do love this transport spine going all the way up the side of the map. Now, let's just have a quick look, see how are we doing on power spines. That looks like a very human power spine. We've actually got 3 separate ones. We've got one power spine down the bottom of the map. That's powered on hydrogen mostly. Then we've got this power spine up here. Well, it's technically separate, but there is, where is it? There's this transformer over here. So what happens is the power from all of the solar, which goes all the way through here, that's not actually connected there. Solar power gets dumped in there, so this transformer regulates it and allows 4 kilowatts of power to get dumped onto the bottom of the grid. Very rare you see someone use a large transformer to dump 4 kilowatts of power the other direction. It's sort of their only real... No, technically they're designed quite well to do that, because they can dump that much power across, but there's no need for it at the moment, and that's why that shut-off is off. There's a little bit of automation in place and some battery stuff going on to control all of that. After that, we've got the plumbing. Oops, did I leave the game running? I shouldn't have left the game running with all the plumbing going on. That's the cooling loops up there that goes across and cools down the sea miners. Yep, pretty normal amount of plumbing. This base actually feels nice and calm and relaxed. I would actually like to spend a few hours just... okay, I spent a bit of time mopping up some of the water I found around the map, but it'd be kind of a nice base to sort of expand a lot. I would love to aggressively expand this base in every single direction. All the infrastructure is there, just needs to demolish the rest of the map. Anyway, big thanks to Chan for sending in this map. One thing I do like is this over here. There's just this nice little system for controlling water. This is a water tank built inside a natural abyssalite bowl. This here dumps in water, and once the water hits this point up here, the hydrosensor kicks in. Hydrosensor sends up an automation signal and closes that door, which just stops more water flowing in. Just a nice simple way of getting a nice little sea tank of water going on. Next up, we got the Swanky Trainwreck sent in to us by Chan. This is played on Oasis with geodes, large boulders, metal rich, and miscalculated pod location. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to zoom in here and start in on the core base. Core base is a nice little compact design here. Right, we've got your standard issue bunk beds going on left and on this side. Then you've got your dining hall, mess hall over here, more beds, lots of statue floors as well, with diamond window tiles, of course, to allow decor to pass through. Let's check that out. You got massive decor amounts everywhere around the core living areas. Then up here we've got several ranches. There's a lot of ranching going on up here. For one thing, we've got glossy Drecos going on this side with a hydrogen atmosphere, just to make sure. Let's show on the gas overlay. Just to make sure that they can, keep their glossy coats going on, just for farming plastic. And over here we have 3 sets of pip ranches fed by arbor trees. The thing about these is pips, after they can consume, or is it, give me arbitrary diet, they excrete dirt. So they poop out dirt, 20 kilos a cycle, each one of them. And they're being used to keep some sage hatches alive. So the sage hatches are being fed on that, and sage hatches are a bit unique from all the other hatches because, well, there was a diet dirt. They can consume 140 kilos, but they excrete coal at 100% of the consumed mass. All the other hatch variants, they only produce 50% of the consumed mass. So if you've got a huge source of dirt, slime, or algae, fertilizer, polluted dirt, that kind of stuff, you can feed them to sage hatches and turn it into 100% coal. This is why this map has 883 tons of coal available. So if you're interested in coal power, this is a nice way to get a lot of coal. Also, this results in an awful lot of meat for barbecue. We're looking at, 224,000 calories of barbecue going around the place. Also some frost burgers, but we'll get into the food later. The frost burgers are dropped off behind here, just if anyone wants to pick them up. Anyway, bottom of the base. Oh, this cooking area here has been decommissioned. Don't worry about that. Then you go down here and we've got some stone hatches, some regular hatches, and the main exit to the base. This main exit is where the Atmo suit docks are stored. And, I don't want them shaking their feet coming in and out of there. That's just mean. Anyway, there's a little bit of a weird thing that goes on here at the back. This whole area back here, it's walled in around the bottom sides. This whole area back here is accessible, and this sort of site up here. So there's some stuff up here that's accessible, but only, without Atmo suits. But everything else, there's these, poke shells, and some refinement going on up here, but that's sort of limited to just this area. If they want to go anywhere outside of the base, barring this back room area, they've got to go through the Atmo suit docks. It's just odd, all that carbon dioxide sitting back there. But anyway, let's continue on out into the rest of the base, shall we? I think the simplest way to explain this base is to start right here on this steam vent tamer. This steam vent is a hot steam vent. Well, there's cool steam vents and regular steam vents. This is a regular one, but we usually call them the hot steam vents because the steam comes out at 500 C. That's a lot of temperature to deal with. But what's going on here is it's dumped into a room with 3 steam turbines jammed on top of it, and 2 of the ports are blocked. I haven't done the math on this in a long time, but the more ports you block, the hotter the steam has to be to activate the steam turbine. So it just means you're not going to be generating as much excess heat out the top. If you put 200 degree steam into the steam turbine, that's perfect, but anything above that, it's wasting the heat. So blocking a few ports seems like a smart idea. There's also this here to detect if the temperature in here goes below 300 degrees, which it'll probably never do from now on. I would also guess that sand there was somehow dirt that, got turned into sand for some reason. Yeah, let's not worry about that. Anyway, these steam turbines, though, do require cooling. So there's some radiant pipes back here with salt water in them, providing cooling. And let's follow those, shall we? If we follow them up here, you'll see that they go right through here, and they're cooling down the plastic presses and the oil refinery. Oil refinery has currently got a blocked pipe because it's filled up all of the tanks ahead of it. All good, all well and good. And if we check on the automation front, it's got a little bit of an overflow section built in to detect if it's full or not. Anyway, that plumbing goes through here, then it goes through here, cools down the glass forge. Then it keeps going on, and it goes up here. Yeah, this is a long cooling loop. And it goes to a cool steam vent room to provide cooling to this, just so that, this cool steam vent can be also tamed by it. Then it comes all the way back through here, and you'll notice it's going through metal pipes. So this is a sort of industrial type area. And it's going through the metal pipes, metal tiles at the bottom to provide cooling. So it cools down this whole area. There's also the oxalate refineries, metal refineries, rock crusher, all through here in the bottom of this industrial brick. Oh, I should point out, these metal refineries are dumping all of their heat up into here, which is powering these steam turbines. Now, this salt water goes up here. Still going on. This is the cooling loop. This is one single cooling loop. Goes all the way up here, goes out, goes down, and it goes down another cool steam vent to make sure that all gets turned into water, or steam condenses. Then it goes back out up here across, cools down this steam turbine. This steam turbine is powering the liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen facility. Liquid hydrogen, that's a very full tank of liquid hydrogen right there. But liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen. Then the cool steam, this cooling loop continues on, goes down here all the way. Wait for it. Here we go. And this is where the cooling happens. There's some doors here, and if the water is too warm in the pipe, these doors engage. Just like that. So that now this salt water is going in at 28.3, coming. And then coming out the other side at 25, 24. Yeah, it's plummeting down. Just a nice way to provide cooling. Then the cooling loop continues on, goes up here, and cools down this older industrial area that's not as well used anymore, and then goes down here and cools down the new cook area. Actually, you know what? Let's do this industrial area. This industrial area here might actually be the more used one. I haven't double checked, But what this does is it dumps its heat. All the petroleum, the hot petroleum that comes out here gets dumped into this battery box room. This battery box room is, everything is made out of steel. It's all hooked up to 3 steam turbines on top. It's sort of like a hot industrial brick, but full of battery boxes. And there's also the cooling loop in here provides cooling that goes down and cools this area here to chill down that saltwater cooling loop. It's all very incestuous. Then over here we have your foods item that's also cooled down. This is the newest one. And this is a smart idea. This gas range gives off carbon dioxide. So why not just seal the room in and let the carbon dioxide provide a perfect environment? I mean, if all your dupes are going to be in Atmo suits out here anyway, who cares? Oh, these doors are locked so the dupes from the opposite side can't get in or out. Now, the one nice feature I really like here, they've gone ahead and they've got some conveyor loaders set up here. These conveyor loaders drop off things. So, where is it? This one here is allowed manual use, edible, and meat. So all the meat on the map is picked up, dropped in here, dropped down, and gets picked up by this auto sweeper. The auto sweeper sends it across into, one of these ones. I can't remember which one. Come on. Well, it drops it across into one of these ones, which loads it up in here, and then they get stored in some of these containers. That way they can get whisked out of there and dumped into their relevant areas. It just means if there is any loose stuff lying around the map, it gets dumped into one area and then stored somewhere else immediately. You don't have to worry about it. Kind of nice. It's just one of those ways of dealing with having loose meat around the map. Oh, the second cooling loop here. There's the second cooling loop over here, which is also cooled by this super coolant thing. Loop is what cools the main base. The main base has just a sort of a small polluted water loop going through it that cools down the core areas. So if we check on the overlay here, yep, it all looks nice and cozy. Well, reasonable temperatured. There's also mounted right on top of it, we've got a sleet wheat farm. Sleet wheat farm appears to be made using deleting door trick. If you'll check here, it's 400 kilos of copper in each one of these spots. You know what? Let's have a quick demonstration of that deleting door trick, shall we? If you get one of these old manual airlocks, cram it and surround it on all sides except for the top. When you deconstruct it, it turns into a tile. The tile will be made out of whatever material you made it out of. So we made this door out of aluminum, so you get an aluminum ore tile of 200 kilos. Wait, 200 kilos? How are these ones 400 kilos? You know what? Don't care. But I presume something similar was done here to get this perfect copper ore tiles just spaced perfectly apart for all of this sleet wheat. Very nice little system. Oh, and lots of viscogel airlocks to go with it. Over here, just to the right of all of that, we've got our natural gas storage. And you'll notice it's a very overpressurized natural gas storage area. How that is all done is there is a gas vent, a high-pressure gas vent right here, and it's got a little layer of oil beside it, or crude oil. So the gas comes out of here, pushes the crude out all of the way. It's just a way to overpressurize a room. That way you can store effectively an infinite amount of gas in one location. But all of that feeds over here and dumps into the 3 main natural gas generators that help power this base. There's natural gas coming from another natural gas geyser around the map, and from the oil wells also. This is the Rodriguez, provides a full Rodriguez here just to provide all the oxygen to the base, because, let's face it, those things are freaking awesome. Going left out of here and down is, well, there's not a lot to see down here. The thing about Oasis is there's no oil biome, and since there's no oil biome, there's no real urge to go down here and demolish it. I mean, if there's nothing down there, you can find all of these biomes somewhere else, so there's no real urge to go down here until you're just better off getting the resources closer to you. Oh, there's also a little, one of these 4-tile high little electrolyzers that I love so much. That's probably the original oxygen supply that goes right across here and into the Atmo suits to make sure they're well stocked with oxygen all the time. On top of that, if we go up to the top of the map, 1 second. Yeah, up here we've got your 2 rockets. Currently, they're just running on petroleum for now, but I presume liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen was about to be implemented. Though I do like this little setup up here. This is a very, very simple way of making sure you can clear regolith. 2 mining drills, and the mining drills are just covered in bunker tiles. If anything comes in, the doors close. Mining drills just dig at whatever's left. Sure, you can't get perfect coverage for your scanners in one spot, but you just build 2. And then your scan network quality is 14%, and you can detect incoming objects 30% away. I mean, it'll do. And solar down the bottom as well. Now let's zoom out a bit and have a quick look at the overlays and see what we're dealing with on this base. Piping wise, that's kind of what I expected. You can kind of see that whole the loop. There's the saltwater loop that goes all the way around the map, cooling down everything all over the place. Though, we forgot that one over there. Actually, no, that was also where the saltwater went. It does an enormous amount of cooling. It's kind of ludicrous. And then after that, we're going to have a quick look at the gas piping. Gas piping's not too crazy. It's generally not on most maps from what I've seen so far. Power-wise, there's actually a sort of a main power spine going around the back here. Ooh, excuse me. A main power spine going down the back, which I didn't even notice at all when I was first going through the base. This goes up here around. It kind of plugs in here to this the steam turbines that were running off the metal refineries. And it goes across there into the natural gas generators just about. And then all the way up, of course, to the top of the map. And goes across and cuts into the solar. There's no power spine run down here. This is sort of, think of that as a service corridor for all the power supply. Very nice, neat little grid going on there. And now, of course, the final check. Let's see how they're doing on minerals. I'm not even sure how much fossil is on this map. Wait a minute. Yeah, that looks like some fossil down there. Oop. Yeah, there's some missed fossil. All you had to do is just a few more steps. I mean, think of all the steel you could get with that. Let's actually check how much steel they've got. Never mind, they have 53.9 tons of steel. I don't think they need the extra fossil. But, you know, it's the principle of the thing that counts. Big thanks again to Andrew for that one. Wonderful base to look at. We've got, and Chan, the last map. They've agreed to let me share it, so there'll be a link to the second base in the description if you want to have a look at it. Big thanks again to Timothe as well for their map. And hope you enjoyed going through these bases as much as I do. If you want to submit a base, just check the description for details. It doesn't really matter what life cycle or stage the base is in. It's just sort of nice to see how everyone approaches all the problems differently. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this tour as much as I did, and good luck.